Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to Flix Take in two different time zones. Uh, Flix Matrix, powered by Film Caravan, brings to you some great conversations with amazing guests. Today we have with us Iram Parveen Bilal. She's a writer, director, producer, a champion of South Asian films and stories in Hollywood, and she's up chatting with us for her latest upcoming release, I'll Be There on Level Forward, and much more. Hi, guys. Hi, Darshan. Darshanika. Welcome to Flicksteak. So, we have Iram with us. I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing? Good morning. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hello. Welcome to Flicksteak, Iram.
Hi, Namrata. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for taking time out of your mad schedule.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think it's almost like running a campaign when you're releasing a film. So I'm grateful and I can't wait to share the film and talk about it.
Awesome. And you look lovely.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's all the
To do. You're so happy with the release of your film finally. It's gone to the floors.
it has, I know, it has been such a up and down type of a journey, So it's a giant exhale and a relief.
I'm sure. So we'll start from I'll meet you there. I think I believe this is the first script that you ever wrote, and I'm sure it's been a long and an arduous journey. So can you share your thoughts with us on this?
It was the first script that I wrote in film school, actually, and even before I knew I could really write. But it was a very different story, and it also has changed over the years. In fact, it was at some point it came to India with the Mumbai Sankalan Script Lab, and that's
Okay.
actually where I met Sriram Raghavan and Anurag and Anjum Rajabali. They were mentors. This was back in, I think, 2010. And it was a very early version of the script. So, but I think it was a very personal story. And I was scared to really talk about it or share it. And in some ways, that's why I shied away from it. And then, just the trials and tribulations of indie filmmaking. So, on and off, it's not that I was actively pursuing it for these many years, but there were certain years where I was, and I let the lows, um, I took them seriously, and I think, frankly, it was because I was too scared to make the film.
Yeah. Finally, it's ready.
It's ready. It is what it is. I'm very excited with the product. And, every film, when you make it and you watch it and time has passed, it starts aging from the moment you call wrap, pack up. So as an artist, you're constantly growing and you look at it. But this one's special, with its imperfections, with all the things I'd like to improve. Every time I watch it, I still think that there's a lot of heart in it. And everybody who came together to make it, and in the circumstances that it was made, it's a true gritty indie project. So I'm just excited to see what the audience says now.
We too are so looking forward to it. So, you've made a number of short films in the past 10 plus years. Your feature film, Josh, it debuted at the 14th Mumbai Film Festival in 2012. Um, all your films, all your stories seem to draw, inspiration from social issues and prejudices. There is this, sense of intense, I would say, dedication in you telling, these stories to somewhere spur the obtuse thought processes in society. Is that what keeps you going?
I just think that I'm an empath, for better or for worse. Like I have way too much empathy. Um, and sometimes it becomes, often I'm grateful, and sometimes it just, there's a lot of hurt and pain. So I don't have an option to ignore what's happening around me. And so in that way, I guess you could say as an artist, I try and keep myself as pure as possible and just let the world reflect through me. And so I would lie if I were to say that, just real life is not an inspiration constantly. And I think that uh, for me, art is a way to understand things that I don't really understand, and it's a way that actors on set can say a dialogue, or something while writing. I can try and understand a character better. So I think things that I can't understand in the real world and why they happen and why they are still happening, they seem to be the obvious choice of exploration through my art. And in all honesty, there's still questions. It's not like it's been answered, right? And that's where the audience comes in. It's so enlightening to engage. And that has been hard because, throughout the festival circuit, we have not been able to engage with audiences. And even the virtual festivals that we've had, we can never see the audience. For some reason, they've not figured out how to just do a Zoom. Like the audience is always in a chat box. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm hoping that, inshallah, through the release, the pandemic will be over, people will be vaccinated, and later this year we might actually still have in-person screenings. Who knows? Maybe I'll bring it to
So,
the next.
sorry, no, no, see that
I,
again.
maybe I'll bring it to the next Mani. It can be.
Yeah.
Maybe they
Yeah.
can have like an encore type screening. I don't know, but I'd love to actually bring the film to South Asia and interact with audiences there.
Absolutely. So it's I'm sure this, all your films would give you a certain sense of fulfillment, like you just said that it's not yet, the questions are not yet gone. But, when you do put it out there, it just gives a certain sense of fulfillment, that, you've at least made it stand. Now the process begins of, thinking and going back and forth and, shifting gears, so I'm sure all the films, the short films that you have made, have a definite sense of purpose.
I think anything, short feature, whatever you're making, it has a purpose, and the hope is that it lives. I mean, it's going to live forever. And I will say this, that one thing I am proud of is that, just looking at my past works, I don't really cringe at my past work. Of course, when I watch it, there's this idea that I could do things better. But so far, I would say that I'm very grateful for the stories that I've had the opportunity to share, and they're still resonating. So,
Awesome.
in fact,
So you're
this project is going to be interesting because I think that South Asia has gone through in the past 15 years. Actually, when I started writing this way back when, I feel like it's way more relevant now because I think that there's so much migration, there's so much movement. Identities are just not linear. Everything is so much more nuanced, that I think that a story like this is actually better released now than it would have been before. So I'm glad I waited.
Yes, yes, absolutely. People are more receptive, these days, and the audiences have really evolved. We must give credit to the audiences to have really want more and more different kind of content coming in, and content that really makes you think, that really like stirs the inner emotions and the inner thoughts.
Right, and
So
also a shout out there, I would say that streamers and these OTT platforms and a lot of these distributors have created more space. So they all come with their positives and negatives, but I think this is certainly something that we have to give them credit for.
absolutely. I know the OTT platforms are really loud speaking everything possible, so we do have to give them credit as well, you know, no matter what pros and cons, but they are loud speaking so many stories, different stories.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're based in California, Iram. Yeah?
Yes, right now I'm in California. I always hesitate to answer that question because I'm a global nomad. I really am.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Nigeria and in Islamabad. I've traveled extensively. I've actually just traveled a lot in India. And yes, at this particular point, yes, I'm in LA, but maybe I'll be shooting something in Lahore at the end of the year or early next year. So I'm
Islamabad is
I'm
beautiful.
stuck in lockdown in Lahore. My lockdown home is LA, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Islamabad is beautiful. I've had the good fortune of driving from Lahore to Islamabad, and
Really?
it was just the most. Yes, we stopped at Rawalpindi and just went through the villages, and it was just an amazing experience. I was really small at that time. I was in the
Oh,
seventh grade, but I do remember most of Islamabad. It's gorgeous, with the mountains and the houses just like facing the mountains, and the weather just being so beautiful.
yeah,
So I
it is.
have some great Pakistan and even
Home.
Lahore for that matter.
Yeah.
So my question was that how challenging is it to kind of build a community of like-minded professionals, in your like-minded individuals in your profession.
I think it's very challenging, actually. I think that part of it is filmmaking, for whatever reason, there's a certain sort of ego that filmmaking can attract, and it takes a really long time for people to be able to find their tribe and build it. And because um, you can have a lot of experiences that you do not want to repeat as you continue in life. That is also why it's really hard for newcomers to break in. Because once people start working with people they like to work with, they kind of want to just keep working with them. And I can kind of initially, I would be really upset, as somebody who was emerging to be, but I can kind of understand where when people find like a partnership that works, they just want to stick with it. It is difficult to find your tribe, but in all honesty, I also feel that that is why it's so important to keep putting your voice out there, because you never know who's hearing you and how people are going to find you. So even with, for example, someone like Pooja and Film Caravan, it was incredible to be reconnected through social, and the fact that, we were following each other's journey over the years. So yes, it is hard. It is hard. But I also feel that again, we're living in a world where there's so many media that help us find, as opposed to think about just 20 years ago how hard it was to try and meet people and find them and try and want to work with them. You go and sit in the reception offices just waiting for somebody to walk out, and that's not how it is. You send a private tweet and hope that somebody's going to read.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it's a lot easier now than a few years back, like you just said.
but there's also a lot of noise, right? So with everything comes. So I don't know. But I will say this to your question, that it's absolutely necessary from the get-go to find champions and find people who truly value you for your voice, for your original voice, and not what they feel you should be doing. So there has to be a balance, right? You have those people who tell you what the market is saying, and then there's other people who will listen to you, hear you out, and be like, I think this has got a lot of potential. Um, and that is how you kind of remain fresh, and that is how you can be innovative. Because if we all start making what the market is saying, then, things get very boring very quickly.
Yes, I did read that in one of your interviews, that we really need to reinvent and need to champion each other's identities, rather than just copying each other and just fitting everybody in one mold, like, okay, South Asians. It's not that it really is to bring out your own identity through these different stories, that you are so amazingly championing. So that is a great point, that I actually read in one of your interviews.
Did I say that? I don't even know what I said anymore. But it's actually interesting that you're saying that, because it's काफी confusing हो गया, it's like, on some level it's important to talk about, you're a woman of color in America. It's really funny because you go to South Asia and you hear yourself, you're like, what am I saying? But we come from mostly homogenous countries in terms of color, and so it is weird to call ourselves women of color. But like, you hear all these tags, right? But that's like, you're applying for funding that is asking you to tag and identify yourself, and at the same time you're trying to say there's no us versus them, we're all the same. It is a complicated time. It is a very complicated time. There's a lot of affirmative action, and there needs to be, to sort of reverse systemic racism, sexism, all the isms. But even that's hard, right? It's hard in some ways, because you can't, in order to reverse what has happened for years, you have to kind of engage in it towards the other gender color for a little bit. It's just a difficult conversation and needs a lot of nuance.
Right. So coming back to I'll Meet You There, let's talk a little bit more about that. How did COVID impact its release? I think that was quite a sore point of conversation,
Hard
but we
to hear my,
go.
did you hear my heart break again? Well, I actually, I was 39 weeks pregnant with my first child when I found out that we got into South by. And for the independent filmmakers listening, you know how hard it is to get into competition at a Sundance or a South by. Those are the dreams, at least in North America. And yeah, and then my daughter was 2 weeks old when we found out we were in competition. we're one of the 10 films in competition. And despite just being in heavy postpartum, we figured out we produced the heck out of our premiere. We were going to have sold out screenings. We had a full day of press junkets lined up, everything. And then we were kind of hearing about this virus that started in China. And it's like, no, everything's going to be fine. I'm hearing like people say that, agencies saying, and I asked my publicist, she's like, no, 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 all the press is going. This is literally like 4 days before South by is canceled. And then it became, from excitement, it became this nervous thing that, oh well, should the family come with me, like what. Anyway, March 6th, 6 days before we were going to go take off to South by Southwest, the festival was canceled the first time in the history of the festival, and actually the biggest event that was canceled due to COVID, because the timing sucked. Had they been a little later, they could have pivoted and figured out launches, but they were just a week out, so they had already spent the money. So here was like this moment that I had been waiting, and specifically this film that I had been trying to make for 10 years. And a century pandemic took it all away. And sure, I mean, you have the laurels of South by, you have all of that, but it's not what, it could have been the buzz. And after working so hard, I just wanted the cast and crew to really enjoy and celebrate. So it took me a while to really lick my wounds. But I think finally we licked our wounds and we waited for the right partners to come on board. And I think that Level Forward is the right partner because of the sort of impact distribution they're doing. And in a pandemic, the innovative way that they're engaging with audiences it's really going to be incredible.
Yes, absolutely. We're so sure it will. Thanks to Level Forward. And of course,
yeah.
So, we've had a couple of questions, Iram. I had posted that Ask Iram a question. So there's this really, I think, an important question that, most of the South Asian stories. So this is from the audience called Wanda Rani. And she's asking, most of the South Asian stories seem to reflect the struggle in their lives. Why not make a film celebrating their life and victories?
So it's a very good question. And I think that, one of the first rules of storytelling is that people want to watch a character in conflict, whether it's an internal conflict or an external conflict, just because they want to see how they overcome conflict. And I think that desire comes from the audience, because we're all in conflict, right? We're all facing challenges. And in some ways, we want to externalize and watch somebody else conquer and win. I feel like if everything is going well in someone's life, it would be a little boring. It could be a good 10-minute or 5-minute snippet. But also, I see what you're trying to say, in terms of like some of the, like for example, documentarians. My documentarian colleagues are often told that, oh, you're just doing poverty porn, so that the European commissions can fund you. And I understand that also, that we need to kind of celebrate, um, an authentic setting. So, for example, our upcoming film, Vakri, which is set in Lahore, we plan to make it sexy and raunchy. And people are like, oh, Pakistan, oh my God, but all the women should be like really oppressed, and that's not for Pakistan.
I'm
So
looking forward to Vakri.
I think that the point your point is really well taken, and it's a great question. I think what is important is that you have to be honest as a storyteller, and people can smell honesty, and people can also smell dishonesty. So as long as you're authentic, don't worry about that. That's my. I think you're going to be fine. So just stay authentic and true to the characters, true to the story, true to the setting, and I think you will not be in trouble.
Right. Another question from a very cute question from the viewer, House of Paws. So it's like a day boarding and a kennel, and they're asking, we're so excited for this live. Are you an animal lover? If yes, do you own any pets, or would you like to?
Oh my God, I'm going to be outed. I didn't grow up with pets, and I shamefully have a big fear of dogs because as a child, the only sort of dogs that were around me were these like Alsatians, German Shepherds that were all security dogs, and they would bark, and like, my parents would say like, it was this society where like, if your child is not eating, they're like, khana kha lo na doggy ko bula dungi, which is so stupid, right? Why? What is the poor doggy gonna do? But that being said, I'm obsessed with horses.
Ah,
Um,
really?
I if it was actually if I was allowed to have a pet as a monkey, I would have a monkey because I think they're so cute and um, you know. And then the other reason is, and then I just think horses are beautiful. So those are my two animals that I would like. And by the way, I'm heavily allergic to cats and dogs, so I don't
Oh,
have them. So to the Gora crowd, I just say I'm allergic. I don't say I'm scared.
अच्छा क्यों they what they feel offended or what?
Because when you are in America, people are offended, right? It's like if you don't pick up their baby, they will not be offended. But if you're not
हाँ,
like a dog, it's like, oh my God, heresy. So, but
like कुछ गड़बड़ है तुम्हारे में.
yeah, some exactly. So,
Great. So, lastly, how do you see yourself as a a flag bearer of promoting relevant stories in the future?
Namrata, I'm going to give you such a boring answer, but I
So
think it has. No, no, it has to.
it's
First of
not
all,
boring coming from you.
no, no. It's like I think um, I don't think about the future that much. I live life in 3 to 6 month chunks. I don't know. I'm telling stories till I want to tell stories. There's no pressure there, and I'm gonna tell the stories I want to tell in that moment. So am I always gonna like? I want to make. I would love to crack like my DDLJ, right? I want to do that romance that everybody's like going through because that's what I grew up on. Yashji is a big idol for me. I'm very fortunate to
Please
have met
take
him.
Fawad or please take Fawad or Shariar Munawar for it.
Yeah. So I mean, there is. So I don't know what the future holds. I'm just enjoying what the present holds, and I'm trying so hard to be more mindful and present, and especially because I'm this chronic worrier and super like overworking workaholic. Somebody says yes, Fawad, please. Acha ji, yeah.
See,
Um, but there's this like exoticized of like Pakistanis are so hot. I feel like this idea that like across the border we have this like love and obsession with the other side.
of
Uh,
course.
I love it. But no, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. All I can say is that I'm going to try my best to stay as true to how I feel and as honest as possible. And that's sort of my goal. I definitely see, I used to say this earlier, कि जिस तरह कोई पड़ी हुई pipe में अगर गंदा पानी है, that first will come out and then the clear water. So it's like, just because somebody's making like a heavy social drama doesn't mean they're going to make a heavy social drama their entire life. We as artists are always doing things that reflect our inner state, right? So our inner state might shift. Um, and I want to learn how to, in my art, scale up and scale up without selling out. And that's sort of the challenge, and that's the goal for the next film.
Thank you. Thank you so much for these words of advice. And that pipe hose example that you gave is one of my favorite analogies. To really tell not to get scared. It's just only the muck will come out first, or a certain kind of pattern will come out first. Then of course
And
one needs.
we're all evolving as artists,
Yeah.
so it's yeah, that's
So
just a way to.
I want to share one thing with you, a very small incident that happened and that really stayed with me. So we got lost in Islamabad, and we were going somewhere, my parents and me, and we lost the other people. And of course, we knew where we had to go, but we just kind of lost the directions.
That's the
And
best way to travel, by the way.
I'm sorry.
I said that's the best way to travel is just to get
Yeah.
lost.
But it was night time, and my parents were shit scared because I was small and my brother was small, and they wanted to get back home. We were guests, we were house guests,
Yeah.
and they asked this couple who was they just stopped their car and they said, "Acha, आप उधर से जाइए, आप उधर जाइए, उधर जाइए." They were giving us direction. I said, "Wait, follow us." They were going somewhere else, and they took us to the place that we wanted to go, and we was. It has not left me. I mean, I was small, but it's really left an impact on me, that there are, irrespective of anything, that what the point that you just mentioned, the honesty and the genuineness, that will carry you through, through
Dude,
whatever.
lovely. I mean, when we take the politics out of it, I mean, I have so many stories of all these like dukandars and shopkeepers who've given me free stuff in India
Yeah.
because I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no end, so in fact, more friends in the industry in India just because I've been, uh, I grew up in Pakistan as a nerdy physicist kid, but in Pakistan, and in India it was when I went. I was already obsessed with film, so I got to know more people in the film industry there. So yeah, I mean, again, log bahut अच्छे हैं, and that's what we should focus on. We should focus on our common ground.
Absolutely. So, guys, any questions for Iram? This is the time to ask her. And
And
we also have.
here's
I'm sorry?
I said I'm seeing a lot of my very talented filmmaker peers
Talented
joining us.
filmmakers. So, we have tickets for her upcoming release. I'll be there. Tickets are up for grabs. Anybody who's interested, please DM me and I will send you the details. Iram, would you like to make that announcement yourself, coming from the
Yeah.
horse's mouth?
So the film is the horse or the monkey.
Yes. Horse
So,
only.
so guys, I mean, the film is coming out on the 3rd, inshallah. Hopefully, Level Forward is doing this impact distribution. And we have fantastic talk forward sessions, immigrants and identity, rhythms of Pakistan, race and surveillance, tons of, really hoping for an interactive time with the audience. And these are not like Zoom calls. These are highly interactive, gorgeous digital experiences that are being designed. And yeah, we're Flix Matrix, sorry, is giving tickets out. So please DM and it's for North America though. I have to be clear on that the release is geo-blocked to North America.
Oh, is it? Okay. So we
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
come.
No, unless you VPN, but I didn't say that to you.
You need to get it here then. You have to
No,
bring it here.
yeah,
We'll have
no.
to meet you here.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to people interacting and joining, and looking forward to making more movies and sharing more.
Absolutely. So family, friends, whoever are based in North America, please reach out to me. Indian friends, if you have family there, reach out to me. And I have lots and lots of tickets up for grabs. We wish you all the best, Iram, and looking forward to
Thank
more relevant, more amazing, amazing films from you. And really looking forward to meeting you in person. And
Yes.
good luck, mummy, a new mummy, first time
Yes.
mummy.
Thank you, and hopefully you'll be making television series too.
Oh, lovely. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. And a
Okay.
DDL from you.
What did you say?
DDLJ. You want to make your own DDLJ?
I
So the
want to
pastry
make.
is waiting for Fawad Khan to be in that. Basically, she's not concerned about,
Who should be the actress across from
who
Fawad?
should be the actress, guys.
It's only Fawad. Fawad Khan can't be opposite Fawad Khan in a DDLJ. Come on, give me ideas so I can start reaching.
Voice?
Probably wants to pass across. He probably wants to be across Fawad Khan. That's probably what's
Alia.
happening.
Maybe Alia. Alia Bhatt.
So nice to chat with you. Thank you.
Same here, Iram.
Looking forward.
Yes. All the very best. Lots and lots of love and good luck. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.